Teachers, how did you break your favorite student's family apart? I've worked at the same daycare for 6 years, and Noah was different from day one. 4 years old with a stutter so severe other kids walked away from her before she even finished a sentence. She ate lunch alone every day until about 8 months ago when I started sitting with her. We'd do puzzles together and practice her words slowly. She gave me a nickname in her language that I couldn't even pronounce right, but I answered to it anyway. So when a man walked in at 3:15 to pick her up, I did what I always do. I checked his ID. The name matched the approved list. He knew the password. Noah looked at him and walked right over without hesitating. I signed her out and gave her a little wave. 20 minutes later, the phone rang and a woman was screaming on the other end. Who took my daughter? Who did you give her to? I tried to explain that her husband picked her up. She cut me off mid-sentence. My husband is standing right next to me. My face went white. When police arrived, they pulled the security footage and the man's face was clear on camera. Mid-30s, clean-shaven, completely calm. They ran it through facial recognition and got nothing. He didn't exist in any system. The parents showed up together minutes later. The mother was barely standing, sobbing so hard she couldn't breathe. The father was silent with a face like stone. The detective turned a tablet toward them and asked if either of them recognized the man on screen. The mother shook her head. The father didn't answer. He just stood there frozen, staring at the footage like he was looking at a ghost. Sir, do you know him? His voice came out barely above a whisper. That's my twin brother. He died 6 years ago. Police ran the name. Owen Marsh. Death certificate filed 6 years prior. Body never recovered. The detective asked the obvious question. So either your brother faked his death or someone who looks exactly like him just took your daughter? The father shook his head slowly. It's him. I watched the mother while they talked. She hadn't said a word since the father identified the man. She'd completely stopped crying as well, which seemed strange. The detective traced the ID the man had used. It was real. Issued 4 months ago in Nevada under the husband's name. This wasn't impulsive. This was planned. Then the mother's phone buzzed. She looked at the screen and her face changed. Not fear. Something behind her eyes collapsed completely. The detective took the phone and read the message out loud. She was always mine. You knew that. The father turned slowly toward his wife. The room went dead quiet. Elise. His voice was different now. What does he mean? She wouldn't look at him. What does he mean? She started crying and suddenly everything came out. We slept together, she yelled. The whole room froze. Around the time she got pregnant with Noah, the mother was crying now. I still don't know if you're the real father. The dad's face crumpled at once. He collapsed against the doorway and started dry heaving. Nobody knew what to do. Then finally, after a minute, the dad stood up. Why did he fake his death, Elise? If he might be the dad, why didn't he fight for anything? Why did he just disappear? She didn't answer. Didn't even look up. Elise. She said nothing. Just kept her arms wrapped tight around herself, staring at the floor. The father watched her for a long moment. Something shifted in his face. He turned away without another word. The detective walked up to him uncomfortably. Do you have any idea where Owen would have taken the girl? We all noticed how he said the girl instead of daughter. The dad cleared his throat. There's a cabin near Lake Carmine. We spent every summer there as kids. That's where Owen went. Police mobilized immediately. The parents and I stayed at the station. An hour passed in silence. The mother sat on one side of the room. The father sat on the other. I kept thinking about Noah's stutter, how hard she worked on every single word. Then the call came. The mother picked up and I saw her legs give out as she collapsed. She started screaming, she's alive. They have her. I saw the father's shoulders drop with relief. The mom went to hug him, but he pushed her away and just kept staring at Noah's photo. They brought Noah back an hour later. The mother rushed forward, but Noah walked right past her. She saw me and ran over and grabbed my hand. Miss. I went on an adventure. I pulled her in and held on tight. The mother stood frozen with her arms still outstretched. The father hadn't moved from his chair. Owen came through in handcuffs a few minutes later. When he passed the mother, he stopped, and the officers had to hold him. You told me she was mine. You told me. She wouldn't look at him. You said if I ever came back, you'd tell him everything and he'd kill me. So I disappeared. 6 years. Because you promised you'd protect our daughter if I stayed away. The father stood up slowly and just walked toward the door. He didn't look at his wife. He didn't look at anyone. He just walked out into the hallway and stood there alone.